For over 24 years, we've been told that Laurent Kabila was killed by one of his own bodyguards, but the truth runs deeper. The murder weapon disappeared, the killer was shot instantly by Colonel Eddy Kapend, and many defendants claim they have been tortured. We were also told that the attack was masterminded by Rwanda, with tacit support from the United States. Guess what? The truth is finally revealed as to who ordered the killing of President Kabila and why the killer was shot dead instantly without facing trial. In this edition of Dark Stories, we expose the shocking betrayals, interviews, and secrets buried for over 2 decades. Watch until the end, because what you'll discover may change everything you thought you knew about Laurent Kabila's assassination and how his son became president within days after his father's death. But before we uncover the hidden truth behind his shocking assassination, let's go back to where it all began and find out who Laurent Kabila really was. Laurent-Désiré Kabila was born on the 27th of November, 1939, in Jadotville, now Likasi, Katanga province, in what was then the Belgian Congo. He studied political philosophy in France and later in East Africa, where he became involved with revolutionary student movements. Kabila emerged in the early 1960s, after Congo's independence, as a young Marxist militant aligned with Patrice Lumumba's nationalist cause. Following Lumumba's assassination in 1961, Kabila helped organize the Lumumbist resistance in Katanga. He became a founding member of the Parti de la Révolution Populaire, PRP, which maintained a small guerrilla movement in Fizi and the Eastern Highlands. During the 1964 Simba Rebellion, Kabila was among the leaders in eastern Congo, but the movement collapsed after intervention by Belgian and US forces. By the 1980s, his guerrilla movement had dwindled, but Kabila maintained links with East African revolutionary circles. He befriended Yoweri Museveni, later president of Uganda, and Paul Kagame, later president of Rwanda, during their guerrilla years in Tanzania and Uganda. Kabila's decisive return came in the First Congo War between 1996 to 1997, backed by Rwanda and Uganda and fronting the Alliance of Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Congo Zaire, AFDL. He led a swift military campaign against Mobutu Sese Seko's collapsing regime. The AFDL, with heavy foreign support, captured Kisangani, Lubumbashi, and finally Kinshasa on the 17th of May, 1997. Mobutu fled into exile, and Kabila declared himself head of state. He restored the country's name to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Just days later, on May 28, 1997, Kabila issued constitutional decree that handed him absolute power concentrated in his hands. By August 1998, Kabila broke with Rwanda and Uganda, who had helped him seize power, and ordered their troops out of the country. He added that this marks the end of any foreign military presence and the use of child soldiers in Congo. In retaliation, they sponsored a new rebellion, the Rassemblement Congolais, igniting the Second Congo War. On November 7, 2000, Kabila ordered the arrest of Anselme Masasu Nindaga, a founding member of the AFDL, once vice president. Just over 2 weeks later, Masasu was executed after a summary trial under a tree in Katonia. His death sent shockwaves through Kabila's circle, as he had been one of the original pillars of the movement. This execution alienated many of the Kadogos, the child soldiers who had fought for Kabila during the First Congo War. Feeling betrayed, some deserted and crossed the river into Brazzaville, where discontent grew among former fighters. By late 2000 and early 2001, paranoia engulfed the presidency, and intelligence reports mentioned a conspiracy known as Operation Mbongo Zero, allegedly involving Kadogos and dissident networks plotting against him. On the 16th of January 2001, an 18-year-old bodyguard reported as Rashidi Mizele entered President Kabila's office while Kabila was meeting with his economic advisor, Emile Mota. The attacker bent over Kabila. When the president leaned toward him, the attacker pulled out a revolver and shot Kabila multiple times. Within minutia, Colonel Eddy Kapend, Kabila's trusted military advisor and aide-de-camp, stormed into the room, drew his pistol, and fired at Mizele, killing him instantly before any interrogation could take place. Kapend later claimed that he acted to protect the presidency from further danger. But his decision to execute the gunman on the spot meant the assassin never faced trial. Over the next weeks, more than 135 people were arrested. Among the first to be accused was Colonel Eddy Kapend, the very officer who had executed the gunman Rashidi Mizele. Detainees were accused of everything from supplying the weapon to providing intelligence. At the center of the allegations was the claim that Rwanda had orchestrated the plot, possibly with tacit backing from the United States. The execution of Anselme Masasu Nindaga weeks earlier had fractured Kabila's own movement, leaving resentful Kadogos and ex-allies who now stood accused of plotting revenge. Rumors of Operation Mbongo Zero, a plan allegedly hatched by disillusioned Kadogos in Brazzaville, fed suspicions that the killer had been part of a larger coup network. The trial that followed was extraordinary. A military court sentenced 26 people to death and 64 others to long prison terms. To this day, the murder weapon has never been recovered, and Rashidi Mizele, the only man who could have revealed the truth, was killed instantly in the palace. Just 2 days after the killing, Kabila's son, Joseph Kabila, was sworn in as president. He inherited not only his father's office, but also his enemies. Rwanda and Uganda-backed rebels still controlled swathes of eastern Congo, while Angola and Zimbabwe remained deeply entrenched as his allies. In January 2021, President Felix Tshisekedi pardoned and released dozens of people convicted in the 2001 assassination case, including Colonel Eddy Kapend. Joseph Kabila ruled the Democratic Republic of the Congo from 2001 to 2019, taking over just days after his father's assassination. But was Laurent-Désiré Kabila truly killed by just one angry bodyguard? And when his own son Joseph was pushed into power just days later, was it a desperate move to save the nation, or part of a plan that had been in motion all along? Share your thoughts using the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe for more dark stories. Thanks for watching.